So it is the dream of many young kids and a whole lot of adults as well. Be a fighter pilot in the U.S. Air Force. But now we're learning that the military is having to offer some serious bonuses just to keep fighter pilots on the job. The Air Force is offering pilots up to $50,000 per year for 12 years. Added up, that could be $600,000 in total extra compensation through a program that is known as the Aviator Retention Incentive. The military has missed its recruiting target for pilots for 8 consecutive years, Jonathan. And you were saying you thought it's a pretty simple risk-reward calculation.
Yeah, it's a simple thing. They could make a ton of money doing a job using their skills that they've honed in the military, not getting shot at and not fighting in what I think a lot of people think are stupid, endless wars. Also, we should be paying them more to begin with, so I'm glad they're getting this bonus. But I think a lot of people are just sick and tired of going into endless wars and don't want to be part of it.
I think this could be the start of an experiment we see across the military, maybe, because military recruitment isn't only down for the Air Force. We're seeing it down among other branches. We're just not seeing the same type of enthusiasm of wanting to join the armed services. So I'm curious to see how this translates into the other branches. Military
recruiting shortages 2023, since you bring it up, the Army short 10,000 soldiers. That's 15%. Air Force short about 2,800 airmen, down 10%. Navy short about 7,500 sailors, 20%. 2/5 of the department branches met their recruiting goals. The other two, the Marine Corps and the Space Force.
Well, and the only one that has made their goals are the United States Marines. And but I think there's something bigger going on here. Right now is the 50th anniversary of our all-volunteer force, okay? And while there has been this situation of worrying about institutions and military, there's something else that's going on. Among people under 30 years old, they think the only way to success is to have a college degree. That's why college debt has gone there. And therefore, a lot of high school guidance counselors are not telling people about the opportunities that they have in the military where there's leadership. Let's talk about debt reduction. You want the quickest way to kill your student debt? Join the Army. And people don't know about these benefits, and now they've been taught in our society the only way to succeed is to go to college.
But you also think it's because a lot of these pilots can go to...
Oh, they can go to FedEx, they can go to UPS, they can go anywhere, but that does not...
And it goes to what Jonathan was saying in part.
But that does not explain why you're down in the Army and Navy as well. Remember, they spend 7.5 years training those pilots in the Air Force, and they put $7.5 million or more into personally training them. They have a big asset there, but this is a bigger...
By the way, bonus programs, Dan, are not new. It's the fact of 12 years at 50K, you multiply that out down the line, and then they're trying to get, sign these pilots up at 600K a pop, and that's the headline.
Well, sure, and I think at the low end, these bonuses could be like 15K, and an average pilot's making like 120, 130,000 bucks a year, so that's maybe 10%, 15% of their pay. It's a lot, but I mean, I'd way rather see them get this than defense contractors who are making a ton of money on war.
All right. Thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.